Welcome to Spoiler Alert. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Dustin.
And last night was the Oscars. First things first, congratulations to Coda for sweeping all three of its awards, including Best Picture. All well-deserved.
Woo!
Yeah. Coda, when we did the Oscar nominations podcast, was the film where I was like, I love this movie. It's not going to win shit. And then all of a sudden, in the past 2 weeks, Coda gained traction. It's kind of like Rocky beating Apollo Creed.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see the film, but I definitely cheered when it won for some reason. Maybe the emotional hand thing that everyone was doing. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So I was excited about that.
And it's a genuinely good movie. Fuck Twitter.
Why does Twitter not agree?
Yeah, Twitter hates this movie because God forbid a feel-good film wins.
Why? What does Twitter want?
Yeah, Twitter just wants movies that kind of fit their own narrative, their own little bubble.
Which is what?
Which would have been like Power the Dog or something along that line. Power the Dog was the fan favorite on Twitter, in which it's fine. It's well made. Campion deserved the Best Director nomination.
Right.
It's not my tempo. Like, Drive My Car, honestly, did Power the Dog way better. That slow burn movie that takes its time with its story, but you're still invested in each character.
Sure.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's just get to it straight away. The slap heard round the world. I can only talk about Coda for so much.
I mean, let's be honest. There's like 5 moments in Oscar history that transcend movie fans or fans of pop culture. I mean, there's certain things that have happened, right? Cuba Gooding Jr. trying to give his Oscar to, what was it, Anthony Hopkins or something?
And then when Drive My Car got its Oscar, Travis Barker starts immediately playing like 15 seconds after he gives his acceptance speech. I'm like, dude, Travis, calm down.
This moment in the Oscars will be, like I was saying, it'll be number one most shocking moments or whatever the fuck for a long time. The Oscars wanted more ratings. They wanted to be more relevant. They wanted a whatever. Well, be careful what you wish for. Because Will Smith just might smack the shit out of Chris Rock.
Right? Over what was essentially a pretty bad joke.
Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, where you're coming from, whatever it may be. But like, I mean, the Chris Rock, like the dude just fucking knocked on Will Smith's wife. Like, we all put ourselves in that position, whether we have a wife or not. If you are sitting there and somebody just knocks on your loved one for a side effect of a medical condition, like, I mean, come on, we all want to hit the guy. Totally, right?
Yeah. If I were in that situation, I would have too. Basically, Will Smith did what the Venus and Serena should have did to Jane Campion last week.
Why? What happened last week? I don't.
Jane Campion basically said something to the effect of she has to compete with all the other men, pretending that Venus and Serena Williams aren't competitors in a predominantly white sport,
right?
And had to bust ass to get to where they are today.
The nominees, and Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you do not play against the guys. Like I have to.
And here's Venus and Serena Williams trying their damnedest to not punch her in the face during this acceptance speech she gave last week. And you wonder why Jane Campion gave a completely and totally apolitical speech when she won Best Director at the Oscars.
Right. To be honest with you, man, like, we are gonna get to her win, right? Jane Campion.
Jane Campion, yeah.
Okay, because I'll just wait because I have something to say about Kevin Costner's speech.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait. I'll wait.
Yeah. But that one punch saved what was otherwise a shitty Oscars show. Like, who hired Amy Schumer to host?
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you there. I thought Amy Schumer was great and she should have been given more time.
Yeah, I did not like her at all. Like, nothing landed with me.
What didn't you like about her?
The whole bit with Kirsten Dunst in which she's like, oh, Kristen Dunst is a seat filler. And you can just tell Jesse Plemons was trying to hold back his top from Breaking Bad, that situation.
To go to the bathroom, or if you're going to cry because you didn't win. Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Let me just show you what the seat fillers do. Okay, here's a seat filler. Can we get you up, honey? You want to go to the bathroom? Okay. Let's just get you. Thank you, seat fillers. Love them. Jesse, I loved you in Power of the Dog.
You know, that was my wife, Amy.
You're married to that seat filler? Oh, that's weird.
Oh,
and you have Amy Schumer doing her opening monologue and she's trying to explain jokes. That to me is where your humor kind of fails. And nothing really worked with me in terms of Amy Schumer.
See, I'm a big fan and I've seen her live and it's insanely funny. And she actually made me laugh on this award show. And I gotta say, like, Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall like killed it too. Like, they were really funny. I just wish that they would have given them more stuff to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like we can disagree. We've done it before, and that's okay.
Exactly.
I know you won't slap me. So,
oh God, I'm not gonna slap you, dude.
I won't press charges, but I still, like, you know, I wouldn't do it. But.
They actually, Will Smith's team just put out the whole Apple Notes app note just an hour before we did this podcast.
Mm-hmm. It didn't take long. I thought it'd be at least one more day.
Exactly.
Because you think you'd want to stretch the news cycle out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But this is Will Smith we're talking about. This is Mr. A-list superstar who has a huge personality everywhere he goes, even on YouTube.
Well, you know, and that's the interesting thing is that, like, this dude has been dogged by the Academy. I mean, dogged. This motherfucker played Muhammad Ali, for God's sake,
and he crushed it.
Make all the puns you want. He slapped Chris Rock, but he never even got noticed for Ali. He never got noticed for any of those films he did.
I do believe he was Oscar nominated for Ali.
Right, but he didn't win, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like he so yeah, that's a good correction to make. But he probably feels like he's gotten dogged by the Academy. And we've all seen it. And this dude finally wins an Academy Award for a great role. And that precedes it. Some dude talking shit about his wife, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows that she has a medical condition? What the fuck? Why
exactly?
Why even say that? There's so many other people in that room you could have gone after.
Exactly. So many other people.
You go after the one whose hair is falling out because she's sick? What the fuck?
And then while we're at it, I want to talk about Zack Snyder sweeping both fan awards that were clearly rigged for Disney.
I mean, I'm so confused. Like, how do people vote in that?
Yeah, it was actually a Twitter thing. I saw it firsthand. It was done entirely on Twitter, where you had to type in what your favorite scene was and like hashtag Oscar fan favorite or Oscar cheer moment. And the Snyder fans came in extreme full force, to which, in which I'm just going to say this bluntly. If I were Warner Brothers right now, I'd be announcing within the week Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3, or at least a mini series before Discovery takes over.
Well, they got to wait for the new guy to take over, though.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying they got to do it beforehand to get some goodwill going.
Sure.
Because Zaslav doesn't take over until like next month, I believe.
I mean, do we really think that that there's a Justice League 2 and 3 coming?
I'm being cautiously optimistic, especially given Zack Snyder has a fuck you money deal with Netflix because he's got Rebel Moon coming out and like Planet of the Dead or whatever with Netflix. If it does come out, it's not going to be for like another 3 to 5 years at most.
Yeah, all these.
If anything, if it's Zaslav, he'll truncate it into a mini series.
Well, that's fine, but
yeah,
Jesus.
exactly. I'm content with whatever Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3 is.
I just wish they would stop like it's okay to like with Marvel, right?
Yeah.
You know, they make you wait for shit. They really painfully tease whatever, but they do reward you. If you act right, if you know, whatever, you will be rewarded. Like you will. Kingpin is here. Fucking Daredevil's coming back. Like we're getting it. We're all getting it.
Yeah.
But DC's like, do you want it? Do you want it?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. It's like, what the fuck?
Exactly. It's like you put out Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. You need to build out Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, you need to build on that momentum.
I just wonder how much it would cost.
Yeah, that's the next question too.
What's the price tag?
I'd say if they're currently doing it right now, it would probably be about $200 million, which was what the cost of the Batman was.
Per picture, though.
Be right? $200 million per picture.
Yeah, so and would these be going to just straight HBO Max then?
I wouldn't, and that's why I'm saying, if anything, it'll probably be a mini series if it does. So that way you have that exclusivity. You have those Snyder fans paying $14.99 a month, which still goes direct to the studio and not to a theater. So HBO Max would probably be the smarter bet if you were to release that.
Yeah, dude, listen, there might be an audience, but there is no way that the Snyder fans, and this is my controversial statement for this episode. There is no way the Snyder fans have the numbers to show up and make Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 a hit in the box office. No way. Especially
given the Batman just passed Man of Steel and Batman v Superman's total domestic cume as of this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, there just isn't, but there is. So that means that if it's an HBO Max thing, those budgets probably get halved.
Yeah. That's why I'm
okay. Saying. 250 million all in for 2 films. They could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just lighten up on the explosions. Give us some more dramatic acting.
Exactly. And I'm not against the idea of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. I want to see where that story goes.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose between Matt Reeves' Batman and Zack Snyder's, I mean, I would be all over Matt Reeves. I'm not. No. I mean, no offense. I like having multiple Batman. That's great, but Matt Reeves, crushed it or whatever. But I mean, I feel like them winning, to bring it back to the main subject, the Flash winning that moment is definitely a fucking internet troll thing.
And to me, that whole thing was like the reinvention of the best popular film, in which you could tell this was solely created to get Spider-Man No Way Home its Oscar.
Right.
Because people were pissed, most notably Kevin Smith, that it didn't get nominated for Best Picture. Look, I like Spider-Man No Way Home. It's not Best Picture.
No way.
It's not. especially given when 90% of that film is shot on a soundstage.
Well, I don't even think that makes a fucking difference. But to me, it's like it's it was made for the big audience, you know?
Yeah.
And it was made for whatever. And that's great. And that can win Best Picture, sure. But they usually tune it down to these things that, you know, that make you really dial into like the smaller story that has wider emotional impacts. And, you know, listen, Spider-Man has insanely emotional impact, right? But like how many of us can relate to having fucking superpowers and having to go back to a reality where no one knows who we are? I mean, not many. So
exactly, like versus the only hearing child in a predominantly deaf family who wants to go to college for music. Exactly. And she's being forced to be the translator for her family. There's genuine conflict in there. Whereas Spider-Man No Way Home, you're just like straight up beating up the bad guys.
Right. With a wizard and a fucking guy with spider or octopus arms. And yeah. And I get it. I'm with you.
Yeah. And sometimes I do feel a populist film should be nominated for Best Picture. Like, for example, when Return of the King took Best Picture, I was excited. Like, yes, absolutely.
I mean, Dune made a good run this year.
Dune took every award it was damn near nominated for. They didn't get shown.
Right, of course not.
They just like awkwardly shoehorned them in to pre-recorded segments in which we have to make room for the unfunny bit of Wanda Sykes at the Academy Museum, which is like Riz Ahmed just won his first fucking Oscar for a film he directed.
Yeah.
Most of the technical awards are being passed off stage for this unfunny shit.
Yeah, well, that could have. I mean, and it's almost like they handcuffed her because she can be really intricately funny and raunchy and whatever. Yeah. And it's like they weren't allowing her. So
when Wanda Sykes is on, she's really on. But at this award show, she was completely off. And especially, fuck that last duel joke.
I have a movie for somebody special, and no one has ever seen this movie.
Never been seen.
It's a never been seen movie.
Okay.
Okay, not even by the director.
Uh-oh.
Now, I got a screener of The Last Duel.
Never been seen.
Never been seen.
She's like, well, here's a copy of The Last Duel, a movie nobody's seen or some shit like that. I'm like, fuck you. That should have been nominated for Best Picture, Best Costume Design, Best Actors across the board.
Well, that's why she made the joke.
Yeah. Which, going to my next point, oh my God, why did they bring Tony Hawk, Kelly Slater, and what was the other dude? Shaun White for James Bond?
Because they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, and they think that's the way.
Yeah. The younger audience of people born in 1979.
Yeah, I mean, they're just clueless. I mean, not inviting some of these Oscar-nominated films stars. Not like, I mean, they're just clueless. I mean, smart move. Having Beyonce open the show, I thought that was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it was a great
performance. Was great. I'd pay for a whole album of her behind a live band.
Right, and then they clipped fucking Billie Eilish.
Yeah, that's my next point too. Like, fuck that. And she was on it too. Which, by the way, congratulations to No Time to Die.
Yeah,
for best original song. I was so glad that won.
It actually made me want to watch the movie again.
Yeah, I fucking love that movie.
I did too, but I was really the last 20 minutes really disappointed me. But I think now that I'm over it, there was so much anticipation going into that. I just expected some, the twists, the way they were setting it up. It was like, wow, they're not backing off of Christoph Waltz's character. They're not backing off of all these things they've been criticized for. I'm excited. And then it was good, But then, spoiler alert, James Bond dies, and then that's fine. And
and I kind of like that reverse No Time to Die. I mean, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which goes to another point. They didn't bring up George fucking Lazenby.
Well, George Lazenby was kind of a con man. I mean,
yeah, if you get the chance, watch Becoming Bond on Hulu. It is fucking great.
I mean, where's the full length like motion picture about how some guy conned his way into being James fucking Bond after Connery? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, where's that film? It's that film, Becoming Bond. It's presented as a documentary with George Lazenby telling this story. And it's also a hybrid as they bring in people like Jeff Garlin to reenact these sequences. But don't you think that could be a 2.5 hour fucking...
Yeah, that could be a total feature film in and of itself.
Yeah, right.
Like cast like Jacob Elordi from Euphoria as George Lazenby. That could work. Especially given I just found out that dude was Australian last night on the Oscars.
Nice. Yeah, that deserves to be its own thing.
Yeah. That could be a cool movie in and of itself. That, and I fucking love Her Majesty's Secret Service.
That's the one where
Tracy Bond dies at the end.
Oh, does he die at the end?
Tracy Bond.
Oh, Tracy Bond. That's the one where
Diana Rigg. Yep.
Yeah, she in the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gets blown up.
One of my all-time favorite final shots, that bullet hole in the window.
Yeah.
And then it just crashes right into the Bond theme. Like, that is one of the all-time great tonal shifts ever. This somber moment. And then...
Well, yeah. I mean, they needed a way to bring him back into the fold.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean... Then they did a 60 years of Bond tribute at the Oscars last night. So,
in which I was like, I could have cut this way better.
It was so short.
Yeah, and
So
you're using "Live and Let Die." Like, have this be fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, great tune, but they even cut some of the lyrics of that too.
Yeah, they like truncated everything.
It was terrible.
And that gets to my next point. The big number of the night. We don't talk about Bruno. In which the first verse of the song with the cast members that are playing it, because I recognize Diane Guerrero immediately, because I fucking love Doom Patrol. And then it cuts to Megan Thee Stallion for some reason doing a rap verse.
Is that not in the song?
No, it wasn't even on the song. It's not on the song at all. And it's just a rap verse of her being at the Oscars. And I'm like, okay, could you at least tie it into Encanto? Could you tie it into movies? Not just make this about you?
Yeah, I think they're just reaching all sorts of ways to try to figure it out. And it just came out like a goddamn mess.
And it was a failure on every end. Like, I'm sure the producers are thanking God Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
Hell yeah.
Because they were probably like, oh my God.
Someone saved the show with violence.
And then, speaking of Disney, that fucking shameless plug for the new Little Mermaid movie disguised as the intro for Best Animated Feature with Lily James, Halle Bailey, and Naomi Scott.
The three of us have all had the privilege of bringing a beloved animated character to the live screen. I played Cinderella, Naomi was Princess Jasmine.
And soon, Halle will join the club as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Welcome, babe.
Characters hold such a special place in our hearts because animated films make up some of our most formative movie experiences as kids.
So many kids watch these movies over and over.
I fucking hated that.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. So what happens is that they brought in Naomi Scott, Lily James, and Halle Bailey, who are all their live action Disney princess counterparts. Naomi Scott being Jasmine, Lily James being Cinderella, and Halle Bailey being the new Ariel. And it's this straight up commercial where they're basically saying animation is for kids. And they make a joke about Encanto being watched over and over again by parents. I'm like, for fuck's sake, just give it to fucking Encanto.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
and it's like and here they are trying to pretend that a movie like Flea, this adult animated drama, has a chance, and it isn't happening at all.
Yeah.
And as much as I liked Encanto, it really should have went to Mitchell's versus the Machines, because that's where I feel animation is going. That Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines style animation. I mean,
no, I just think that the animation category itself is so closed off. It's like they don't include. There's so much, man. There's so much out there that doesn't get any light, and it's like this isn't rocket science, right? Like, if you want to get the younger audience in, have the fucking cast, the whole cast of Spider-Man No Way Home host the goddamn thing and make fun of themselves the whole fucking time.
Exactly.
Boom, your show is saved.
Which goes to my next point. Like, Simu Liu for Shang-Chi and Tiffany Haddish should have hosted the show, because those two together had insane chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, and John Travolta together, like clearly having the time of their lives on stage.
Right.
Like, having the best times of their lives. And I'm like, fuck, I want to watch these three hosts.
Right.
It looks like they're having a good time. Whereas,
in a way we're not used to seeing.
Whereas you have Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes, three different versions of comedy that don't gel together, that don't play off of each other, and have zero chemistry with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did good, but I mean, they're handcuffed. They get a good fucking 5 minutes a piece, like, and then they have to like do one bit a pop, and that's it. And it's like they make it so hard because it's the fucking Academy Awards and whatever. But I just don't understand. Again, this isn't rocket science, right?
Yeah.
If you want to fucking bring in a younger crowd, smart decision with Beyonce. Bad decision cutting Billie Eilish's short. Bad decision not having fucking Tom Holland and just say hosted by the cast of Spider-Man No Way Home, and actually have fucking Willem Dafoe get up there and do a fucking bit. Have fucking Tom Holland and Zendaya go back and forth. Have fucking Andrew Garfield, have Tobey Maguire at the end come out and say he was busy, but he decided to show. I mean, do those things. Dude, everybody and their brother will fucking come out and fucking watch that shit and we rewatch it, so then there's that. Maybe throw, they did the one year where they had Eminem come out and do fucking bits and pieces of whatever songs. Dude, that actually worked. People were in the audience jumping up and down. People at home loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, have somebody like The Weeknd or something come out and do a fucking an old James Bond song or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's just shit you could do without being fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, like how a couple of years ago they brought Billie Eilish to sing Yesterday for the In Memoriam segment, and it worked so well.
Right. But you also have to promote that shit, right? You have to be on you have to be on Instagram advertising. And I just don't think the Academy wants to. They want to feel like, oh, we don't have to advertise. We're the Academy. Like, you do, dumb shits. Like,
like, get on social media, like, and for that matter, stream this live, because nobody's really watching broadcast TV anymore. Like, I had to buy an antenna solely to watch this. Okay.
Right.
Because I'm cheap and I hardly watch TV as it is.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who was talking about Will Smith and talking to me like they were an expert, They didn't even watch the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I did, and they were talking to me like they were like they were his agent or something. Like they were there. I'm like, have you ever watched the Academy Awards? No. I'm like, what the fuck? I watch every year.
I do too. It's one of the only times I ever get pissed drunk at the Oscars. My tradition is anytime an actor gets political, I take a shot. And it's a good thing I missed the first 2 hours and watched it the following morning because I would have been comatose.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on in the world right now.
Yeah, but the only time I didn't take a shot was out of respect for Betty White when Jamie Lee Curtis was holding the dog. I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of a wonderful tribute. Like, no, this is not a shot.
Did you take a shot when Bill Murray talked about Ivan Reitman?
No, not really.
One of my favorite moments of the show.
Yeah, I love Bill Murray, man.
He just has a way, man. He knows what's up.
And then there was the Best Picture nominees. The Best Picture nominees presented by Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli, in which there was this genuinely wonderful rapport these two had together.
Right.
Whereas it did feel awkward, it did feel forced. These were two generational talents together presenting the Best Picture. And I thought that was really cool of Lady Gaga help Liza Minnelli out.
Yeah, for sure. And she did it with class, you know?
Yeah.
Made her feel good and whatever, but she's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, I got it. Don't worry about it. And she's like, all you gotta do is read the winner. And then she's like, oh, I'm so happy to be here. Or like, you know, I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing we can say is like the somewhat less mediocre biopic actress would. I was so glad Jessica Chastain took it over Nicole Kidman for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, because that was not a win I was predicting.
Who else was nominated? Oh, you know who I was rooting for was Kristen Stewart.
I was rooting for Kristen Stewart too. She was my should. When we did the Oscar nominations, she was my should win, because at the time she was a lock.
Yeah, and like I saw some articles today talking about how her outfit broke some sort of regulation because her shorts were too small or something weird.
Meanwhile, here's Zendaya wearing just cloth over her tits and nobody seemed to mind.
Well, it's just like, why are we even, who cares?
And here's Timothy Chalamet, bare-chested, wearing a blazer. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, people are really...
It's 2022. Styles evolve.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
And then you had Best Director, which was already dead set locked for Jane Campion. And I was kind of rooting for Campion too, because going back to what you said about the director being the conductor on the last podcast, I was like, Campion was that. I just wish she conducted the writing a little better.
You know, Kevin Costner came out and gave this fucking beautiful, in my opinion, beautiful, really bittersweet, sort of insanely personal, highly detailed speech about what it's like to be in love with movies. And, you know, he talks about he's 7 years old. And somehow, I don't know how, but he snuck away from his parents and he went to the fucking the Cinerama Dome in LA, and he saw How the West Was Won, and it was a 4-hour film, and it was a matinee, it was in the middle of the day, and how the world and the light from the world faded away, and there was an intermission, and they still played the music and all of the details. And like I was like, that's one of the coolest speeches. I even like text my mom during it. Like, did you hear Kevin Costner's speech? Because it reminds me of conversations my mom and I'll have, because she's a fellow movie lover. And that was
one of the highlights of the night for me, was Costner's speech, because
then Campion gets up there and says, thanks, Kevin Costner. Like, that was a bit dramatic, like makes fun of the guy. And it's like, that's so rude, man.
You're already in hot water with the Williams sisters.
What the fuck?
Are you looking to get fucking blacklisted at this point?
I mean, I just felt really rude. It was like, wow, this beautiful thing he put together, you know, or whoever, and like personal story. And it's like, it's just crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
Why get up there and like, you should be like, hey, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
And I
that's
remember that
dramatic,
too.
Kevin. Yeah, that was so. I mean, what a fucking. It's like letting the air out of a balloon or something. It's like, wow, what a fucking way to get up there and make us not cheer for you.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like any one of those directors could have won. I wanted Campion to win, but she just has this arrogance about her.
Right, she does.
In which it's part of the reason why I didn't like Power of the Dog, because it felt pretentious. It felt very capital P pretentious to me. When the story is in actuality period accurate Brokeback Mountain.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was so many films that we knew weren't going to win, and that seemed to be the one that was like pulling closer and closer towards director for that was the top, and I feel like some they give the one that they want to win.
It also makes them look good too, given that Chloe Zhao won last year for Best Director.
Right.
And what they're really doing is they're giving Campion her Oscar she should have won for The Piano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, also, they're like, here's your Oscar. We're going to give it to some other film for fucking Best Picture. Just so here you go.
Exactly.
You can have this. We're giving that to like kind of a way to make everybody happy.
So, did you agree with the Coda Best Picture win?
I didn't see the film, but yeah, I did. I thought it was really cool.
I totally agreed with the Coda Best Picture win. Shamelessly plugging my video I just put out. It was number 2 on my Best Picture ranking, right behind Drive My Car.
Right.
And I watched this, and I just put it on, like, right before we did the Oscar nomination podcast. I was like, oh, that's Coda. I got to watch that. Okay, what the hell? It's an hour, 40 minutes. Let's go. And I sit down and watch it, and I genuinely loved this movie.
Right.
I loved these characters. Troy Kotsur, if I weren't processing that movie during the Spoiler Alert podcast, would have been my Will Should Win, no question. Because he was hilarious in that movie. He had some of the best lines in that movie. And the one thing is he's deaf. And he has to communicate that in a way that's universal to anyone watching this film. Like, he's horny. He's horny. He's vulgar. He's a lot of these things. And it's also the least Oscar baity movie of the Best Picture nominees, aside from maybe Dune. And even then, Dune at times was capital P pretentious.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely some pretension woven into that.
Yeah. But as I sat there watching this, it's like I said earlier in the podcast, it's like, I love this movie. It's walking away empty-handed.
Right. Yeah,
And then when I see all 3 awards get taken for this, all of them giving compelling speeches, like whoever translated for Troy Kotsur was crushing it. He was able to perfectly capture his emotion while siding out his speech.
For sure. Absolutely.
And then you have Sean Heder, who won for this, who gave this wonderful speech about how this film touched her and how it made an impact to her. And I was so glad that won, because I genuinely did love the Coda Coda screenplay.
Yeah.
Because that would seem to be a hard screenplay to write, especially given it primarily focuses on deaf people. Like, how would you write for deaf people? How would you communicate to deaf people? You got to think of all that as not just the writer, but the director as well. And she handled it beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And then you have these people on Twitter treating this like it's Green Book when it's the polar opposite, in which this is a film that's spotlighting the deaf community, and that, yes, deaf people are people like you and me. They're horny, they fight, they're vulgar, they treat people with respect. And that's what I loved about Coda. it like one of my favorite scenes in that movie is their hobby is like the older brother is on Tinder and the family's picking out Tinder dates for him. And they're like, no, he's ugly. No, he's sad. Like, I actually enjoyed this movie. And yeah, it plays like some of those sappy beats, but these are really well played beats.
Right. And those are important in any film. You know what I mean? It's like when you've got competition, like all this other stuff, you know, when you've got competition, whatever, like, and you're dealing with like not an easy subject matter, you know what I mean? Like that's like your ability to sort of weave and thread through the material is sort of like why is, first of all, it's what makes the film good, but also like how you get nominated, really.
Exactly. And it's nice to see a Best Picture winner wherein the father of that film signed "Suck My Dick" to rousing applause.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I love this movie. Like, if a Criterion release comes out for it, I'm going to buy it. Let me put it to you like this. Had I have seen Coda in 2021, it easily would have been my top 10 on my top 10 list.
Yeah, totally.
Because I was totally moved by this picture. I thought it was genuinely hilarious. The choir director reminded me of my band director on Crank, in which he's having these kids sing "Let's Get It On." And he's like, come on, you're teenagers, act like it. And shit like that. I'm like, it just reminded me of my band director, Mr. Haggett from Woodward. But imagine him on crystal meth. And that was kind of like that little nostalgic memory for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
But with all that said, I think we covered the bases of the Oscars that we needed to cover. I mean,
yeah, I think so too.
We've already covered everything that needed to be said.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of nailed the stuff worth nailing, and we talked about the stuff worth talking about. So, you know,
I think we've already wrapped this up.
Fucking fried.
I know, right? Me too.
God,
I gotta hit the hay right now. That being said, be sure to like, comment, share, spread the word of New Rums Media. Follow me on all my socials at New Rums Media. And until then, getting jiggy with it. Na 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 na.